Hi guys, I'm in the middle of a garage renovation series, which you'll see soon. However, I'm going to make a short one here in the middle because I had this old TV in my basement forever. Figured redoing the garage, might as well put myself a TV out here because why not? But the wall mounting bracket on the back of this TV is broken, so I can't just hang it on the wall because that's where I wanted to snip it right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a nice kind of a low profile shelf right here. I got 3 studs, 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to make a nice low profile shelf so that way that TV gets moved down a little bit because up on top of the deep freeze it's just a little high for my liking. So making this shelf is going to be real easy. We're going to move it down here. We're going to build this shelf, get it painted same color as the wall in that, and then plus we'll have little cubbies to stick your game system or your Roku or whatever your deal is, and all these little cubbies down here. So let's get started. So the main thing I want to do is whenever I measure out, I've got 16, 16, 16 on your studs, okay? So there's 32 inches. I want to make sure that my shelf is a minimum of 1.5 inches past on either side. The reason for that is for the width of the 2x4, and that way I've still got room to hit the studs to secure it to the studs. So I want to make sure that I am at least 1.5 inches off that way, 1.5 inches off that way. So I'm going to make this one about 35 inches. That way I know I've got plenty of room to still hit my studs and still have the 2 supports that are going to be on the outside out here. Alright, so how this is going to run, it's a real simple shelf. You're going to run a 2x4 or 2x6 this way. I'm going to see what I got in my pile out back, which is going to be 35. I'm going to have a support coming off either side, and I'm also going to put one in the middle. But I'm going to make sure that it does not line up with this stud here. So it's going to be probably kicked off to the side or something, so you have a bigger gap, a bigger shelf on this side, and then a smaller shelf on this side. It won't be symmetrical, but that's fine because I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to hit this stud that's running through here to have that support. And then all of these, your 3 supports this way, you just want to make sure whatever you're setting on top of there is going to fit. In my case, it's going to be the base of this TV, and the base of this TV is 9.5, so I'm probably going to bring it out to, I don't know, maybe 11 or a 12 footer, so that way whenever it comes off of this wall, 11 or 12, I make sure that I've got plenty of room for that whole base to sit on this shelf. Alright, so I had some 2x6s laying around. So I've got this one marked out for my 35 here. I'm going to clean up this this cut here because that's nasty. I got 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot. Let's get them cut. Alright, so now since we got our board 35 across, I've marked where my stud is, or no, correction. The stud was here in the 16. I got this marked here, so I'm going to put my extra support on this side of this mark. So I'm going to have a big shelf here, but then my stud's going to tap in here, and then my other support's still going to be underneath the TV, pretty much in the middle on this side, for a shorter shelf over here. So attach these. It's going to be real simple. Hopefully I can get this on my tailgate workbench here. You're just going to take your 1 footers. As I drop them, take your 1 footers and you're going to attach them to the edge, on either edge here, coming through the back with some 3-inch wood screws. Board's a little cupped. Turn that. Okay, we're going to attach one here. I'm going to attach one here on my mark. I'm going to attach one on the other side. Like I said, just come in through the back with some 3-inch wood screws. 2x6, you should be able to get 3 of them in there. Now, what you want to do, now that you got your box sitting like this, double check your dimensions. This is going to be, 13 and 5/16 is what that ends up being. Yep. Yeah, well, that one's just a shy bigger. That one comes out to be a 13 3/8. It's close to 13 3/8. So we'll make it 13 3/8 to make sure that we get all the way across. And then this one here should be our 35. So 35, 13 3/8. Cut yourself a piece of plywood in those dimensions. We're going to put it on the top. This is just a 220. It'll get it smooth enough that it looks good, and it'll get rid of all these sharp edges that you made while making your cut. All right, now you got your base. Grab yourself some 1.5 inch or some 2-inch screws or something. It depends on how thick your plywood is. This is just 1/4 inch plywood, nothing fancy, guys. Get it squared up where you like it. It covers the back nice and even, covers your front nice and even. Get it as squared up as you can. Then I got the wrong bit driver on my gun. I'll be back. Alright, take 2. Now that I got the right bit driver on my gun, all you're going to do is put 1 across the back, 3 here, then I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 here, and that should be more than sufficient to hold this top on to the base. All right, now to make sure that we can run our cables through here so it's not going to go across the back, we're going to get a hole saw. We're going to drill out a hole that the plug, any HDMI power, whatever your game console, whatever you want to run, that way you can come up through the base and you're not going to try and have to loop them off down the side and look bad that way. Alright guys, I went with a 1 3/4 is the flavor I'm going to go with, just to make sure I've got plenty of room to get those in and out of there. You can see where your studs run in here coming across the back, and you can also see the screws on the back here indicating where your stud is. So make sure you're not going to drill into your stud, come over a ways, come off. Make sure you're 1.5 inches, because that's where your 2x4 is going to be sitting. So if I got 1 3/4, I'm going to come all the way out here. Oh, I don't know, to the center. 1 3/4. It's going to be about what, 2 1/4? Is that right? Am I doing my maths right? I think that's it. So you want your hole to be close to that stud, as close to that stud as you possibly can. Now I'm second guessing myself. If the TV's sitting here, I think I want my hole off to the side, because if it's right underneath it, that's where the base is going to be sitting. Let me go see how wide that TV stand is. Alright, so a TV stand's 18-inch base. So if I'm going to be centering that, I'm actually going to put my hole off here to the side, so that way 11, yep, it's going over here off to the side. If I put it right here, I'm afraid the cords aren't going to be able to go under, because the base is going to be sitting there, and that base has a little bit of a taper this way, so I'll miss it here. If your TV here, whatever you're hanging, has legs on the outer side, then you can stick it right in the middle. You can't get any closer than that. I was just barely skimming it. But it'll work. So now that you've got your top, you got your support, now we're going to stick it on the wall, and then that bottom we're going to put underneath once we get it attached to the wall. Okay, so now what we're going to do, since we have our shelf, and if you haven't found your studs yet, find your studs in your wall, because this has to be attached to studs for it to work. Okay, I want mine about 3 inches down from that seam on the wall. Make sure to have a level, put a level on it, so that way you can go up and down as necessary. Never do that again, but I actually hit level right off the spot. Now you're going to take your same 3-inch screws, and you're going to attach to the wall. Make sure you've stayed level, which I have actually dropped down a little bit. There we go. Attach to this stud. Make sure to drive them in nice and hard. Get at least a minimum of 2. I want to try and get 3 on every stud through here. Now, as you guessed it, you're going to get your bottom piece. You're going to come in here, square it up on both sides, like so. Looks good. And attach it to the bottom with your 1.5s or 2s or whatever size screw you need for your application. 1.5 would be plenty just to hold the bottom on. And my screws are somewhere else, of course. Okay. Take two. Get it squared up. Don't attach your bottom before you attach it to your wall, because unless you've got a 1 foot driver that you can put on there, you ain't gonna be able to reach your screws to get them into the studs. Okay, so there it is. Now you can obviously stain it, paint it, do whatever you want. Got our hole here to drop our cords down. Totally forgot. I'm going to need to bring another hole up from the bottom for the power cord to go down to the plugs. That's easily remedied. Let me grab the hole saw. I'll zip zap another one there. But as you can see, you got yourself a floating shelf. You still got all your workspace down here. And like I said, this thing being secured, three screws to each one of those studs. That thing's not going anywhere. That TV is not going to be any problem. Sitting on top of here, probably going to put the, I got a Roku on it right now. It's probably going to sit over here, or sit here. And then I'm probably going to drop cords here. Then I didn't think about it. I'm probably going to put a whole pass-through on here. Yeah, I want to put a pass-through on this middle support. I should be able to get the hole saw in there. Yeah, no problem. So I'm going to have a pass-through. Don't go all the way back, because remember you got those 3-inch screws. Come up here at least a couple inches off the back of that. Have a pass-through, so now whatever sits here, power cords can go this way, connect here, come up, connect here. Then I'll also put that one so any power cords I need can go all the way down to the power. There it is. Afterthought complete. Got a pass through, so anything I set over here, if it plugs in, it can sneak over here. Power cords from the TV come down bottom. Anything from over here all comes into this cubicle. And you got your hole in the back, drops out the bottom, and can shoot down the wall and get plugged in. All right. Let's paint this sucker to match the wall. What do you say? All right, guys, there you go. An easy floating shelf anybody can do. Obviously, if this is going to go like inside your home or something, you'd stain it, make it look a little nicer. You'd all your screw holes and stuff on the top, countersink them, put a little putty in there, sand them off. You could make this as nice or as economical and fast as you want. As I was painting this, I thought, boy, I should have painted this black to match the ceiling. Would have really brought that together. Didn't think about it. So I'll probably change the color of it later on down the road, but it took me a matter of 20 minutes to paint, something like that. Once this dries, I'm going to throw the TV on there, throw the Roku up there, whatever. I appreciate you guys stopping by, Max Boneyard Builds. I am 2 subscribers away from 2,000 subscribers. I thank you guys very much. If you haven't already, jump down there, hit that subscribe button. We can get 2,000 before the end of the summer here, maybe. Man, I feel like a boiled lobster right now. It's about 100 degrees in this garage. I'm going in getting something to drink. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I'll see you next time.